I would like to shortly welcome on stage someone who will talk about designing experiences, and with his company, he also works on creating destinations from single restaurants to whole new cities. He is driven by a passion for redefining the F&B landscape. He's a 20-year professional journey in culinary artistry and strategic innovation, currently Chief Consulting Officer at Living Consultancy and Design. Please welcome Alexis Marcoux Varvatsoulis. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for being here. I hope you had a very enjoyable lunch. And I think what we're trying to say is we've basically increased the efficiency of this room in order to be a lot more cozy and feel a lot better. My name is Alexis. You can forget the last name. It's quite complicated, I know. I work for a company called Livit. At Livit, we create destinations. We create destinations, whether they're restaurants, hotels, cruise ships, or anything in between. And we are a group of futurists, we are architects, we're designers, we even have DJs and chefs into the company. And what we look to do is to make sure that no matter what we're looking at in terms of asset, we are creating a destination. Talking about destinations, we create a destination every 8 hours somewhere around the world. And we have 25 years of experience, active in 45 countries, and have done more than 45 projects across the world. In terms of my background, I started in Michelin-star kitchens, spent about 6 to 7 years in Michelin-star kitchens, then decided to get out and venture off to do my own thing, open the restaurant before going into consulting. For the past 5 years, I was leading the JLR Food Service Consulting Department across the Middle East. And earlier this year with Livit, what we uncovered is that between the design and the strategic advisory, there's an incredible connection that needs to be looked at as one. So what we do is we have two verticals. One is the strategic advisory that feeds into the design and therefore leading into design-led, data-led design. So what are the 3 key learnings we've learned throughout my experiences as well as the Livit track record? First is you do need to trust the numbers. The numbers don't lie. And for everyone who's met me before, I do love data, and I really think it tells a story and it can explain a lot of things that you need to figure out as master planners or developers. Second, you do have to tell a story. The story is what makes the development human. It's what makes it relatable to people. If you can imagine a Hollywood movie that doesn't have a story, then it would be just putting together a few scenes with no beginning, middle, or end. Well, a master plan or a development with no story is just a group of assets that don't really work well together. Finally, you need to create an emotional attachment with your guest, because it's not just about the transactional. It's really about being able to deliver that something more than just spending money, taking their money, or just visiting you to buy something or sleep in a bed. So how do we do this at Livit? We have a holistic approach. We look at the guest experience, we look at the latest industry trends, and we look at the development vision. By aligning the guest values as well as the development vision, that's where we create the emotional attachment. Connecting the values with the latest trends is where we do the guest engagement. And then very important as well, is aligning the vision with the industry trends in order to be able to sustainably generate revenue in years to come. I was saying earlier, this can be applied in restaurants. It can be applied at hotels, whether it's the F&B or the entire hotel. All the assets or all the different experiences within a hotel need to work together to tell a story, from check-in to the spa, to the restaurant, to check-out. Everything needs to be aligned in order to be able to say that story we were talking about earlier. That can be done in cruise ship, and that's potentially one of my favorites. It's literally building a city on the water with people not really having another choice. So if they don't like your your offers, they can't really have a different choice. So they're stuck there being unhappy. So looking at master planning cruise ships 10 years out the line because they need to be built and there's nothing changing once the plans are approved, it's quite fascinating. We've done it with mixed-use developments, which is very interesting because you have, as the name suggests, a mixed type of clientele coming, whether it's resident, hotel guest, office spaces. And that's where you need to make sure that that story can align between the different asset classes, but between the different offers as well. As you can imagine, being in the Middle East, we have master planned a couple of new cities, which again, it's our opportunity to redefine the world and look at things done in a different way. And last but not least, the shopping center, which potentially has the greatest track record in terms of seeing how master planning developed, because a shopping center, as the name suggests, started for shopping. Then it became an F&B destination, and people went to shop and eat. And now we're talking about lifestyle centers. Very soon, it's going to be more entertainment and lifestyle in shopping centers than shopping itself, because, well, shopping is quite easy to be done anywhere in the world. So dissecting it a little bit into more detail. So the guest engagement. There's one very important point to look at, is people don't change, their habits do. And if you look at this picture, there's one clear, interesting fact to take out of it. If you look at the forefront people wearing the black jackets, they're all on their phones, but they're also anchored to the column, whereas in the background, the people with the blue shirts, they're on their phones, but walking around. And as you can imagine, this is just a habit that was built when you learn how to speak on the phone and the phone still had a cable, whereas when you learn how to speak on the phone and the phone was actually wireless. So what do we see? We see that spending frequency from 2019 to 2022 has increased by 30%. However, the spend per visit has lowered significantly. People are value hackers, and I'm not talking about the best price or the best deal. I'm talking about looking for the best value for money. And in MENA, this is twice more important than it is in Europe. Lastly, the experience economy. You can't go through a master planning slide without talking about the experience economy. But 12% of traveling for leisure is spent towards experiences. And people are spending one more day on leisure travel than they used to before. So going towards the emotional attachment, how do we create that emotional attachment? Well, we like to use something called values. And we're able to show that aligning the development values with your future guest or your target market can actually create a premium of 12% into your development. So how do we do that? We start with why. You have to create a very strong purpose and have a very strong purpose as well as pillars in order for every asset class within that master plan or that development to be able to build upon and continue saying that story. Again, the storytelling. Why should I come to your development? Why should I fall in love with you rather than the next person, the next development down the line? So you do need to know your guest. And I was saying, we look at demographics, but demographics change. However, values don't change. Once you have your set of values throughout your entire life, that drives your decisions in a very specific way. And if you can uncover this in your vision, pillars, and mission, then you can speak to that group of people throughout their entire career, whether they are on one demographic or another. And of course, you do have to adapt to habits, as we were seeing in the picture earlier on. Lastly, it has to be a sustainable destination. I know the next panel is going to talk a lot more about it, but not just sustainable as in green, but sustainable in terms of revenue as well. And that's when the development vision and the latest industry trends need to align. So just as an example, in one of our test restaurants, we managed to increase revenue by 13% just by getting the scent right. That's literally just how the restaurant smells within it. So what does that include? Of course, in order to create a sustainable destination, you need to create your demand determinations, you need to look at your revenue modeling, you need to look at your numbers, and you need to be very sure of them, as well as looking at the different KPIs and how they change. In terms of back of house efficiencies, with technology coming in, efficiencies are changing. We're talking about hotels, and no offense to any hoteliers in here. The back of house efficiencies, when we're talking about F&B in hotels, are incredibly low when compared to standalone restaurants. Then the trend monitoring and the touch point creation is a lot more of the kind of soft touches that you can look at in terms of vision and mission and values to create your emotional attachment. So it really is a balance between numbers, KPIs, mathematics, as well as emotions and values and emotional connections, which we like to call a storytelling or an experience design in order to have a successful and sustainable destination. I know it's a very, very quick outlook into how we do things at Livit, how we look at master planning, but we had 10 minutes. Hopefully that stirred a lot of questions. My details are on the QR here. We're going to be around for the next couple of days. We do have our CEO here, Rebecca, as well as Miguel, who's our Director of Development, an AI specialist. So please reach out to us at any time, and we'll be happy to continue the conversation. Thank you very much.